Like everybody's always like, oh yeah, the pillows, the cliffs, the spines, it's so good. It's all so good, it's like heaven. You ask anybody, it's heaven up there. Heaven's east. I know the highway, it's right up there. 542, you'll find it. There's pillows, there's goodness, goddesses in the woods, like, but nobody wants to talk about the other side of heaven, you know, which is death. And you're really close all the time up there. My name's Andrew Eckert. I've been skiing since I was 2 years old. I moved to Bellingham, Washington when I was 18. I've been living here. This will be my 7th fall. I graduated last spring in June from Western Washington with a degree in political science and a degree in Spanish. I grew up skiing in Colorado right outside Boulder at a little family-run place called Eldora with my dad. My dad would take me out to the rope tow, and he'd sit there on his lawn chair with his newspaper, and he'd let me go up, and if I had an issue and fell and wasn't figuring it out, he would walk up the hill. So on March 20th, 2012, I went up skiing. There's 18 inches on the report that morning at 5 a.m. and we were stoked. It was just looking really good and nobody had hit it. And I looked at my friend and what I consider brother, Reed, and I said, we gotta go get that. And so we decided that instead of just skiing down, we were gonna do a ski cut, and Reed was gonna watch me from this bench that looks out over the rest of the run, take this big right turn, look up behind me, and the whole bench underneath Reed had broken on the concavity of the slope. I just wasn't making it. The tails of my skis were pushed down so much from the volume of the snow that I couldn't force my momentum off the trajectory it was already on. And so at that point, I just went for the last ditch avalon effort and literally could not pull my body with all of my core strength forward enough to get the avalon into my mouth. And that's kind of the point where my memory starts to get a little foggy. Eventually ended up breaking both my legs and my arm and partially lacerating my spleen. You don't think about all the important and consequential moments that you've had. You're just disappointed that you made a bad choice and it's gonna end your life. Everything slows down a lot. It's not romantic, and it's not how you think that the point where you're about to die looks like. It just feels shitty. It feels real shitty. And yeah, you think about your family and you think about your loved ones, and you have guilt and sorrow about how you're gonna make them feel if you're not around. He saw like the tips of my fingers come up out of the snow with my glove on. They were able to get me out like within 2 minutes, which is the bar kind of for avalanche rescue. As soon as I got into ICU, they screwed a traction screw into my tibia here, which I watched them do. So I got back to Bellingham 10 days after being at Harborview in Seattle, once I had been admitted to a skilled nursing facility is what they're called. I didn't actually have the ability, or rather mobility in my legs to be able to dress myself and shower and bathe. I probably got over 60 letters, and just about every time I would get a letter, I would cry. Sometimes I would wake up crying for no reason, going through all of the loss and shock and grief of no longer having the capacity to do what I had always done, which was ski all the time. I think that this season I'm gonna ski for the first time again. I do kind of want to remain part of the snow community and the avalanche community especially, and be able to share this story to give perspective to young people who might have the training and might have the experience, but also sometimes don't have the wherewithal or have too much piss and vinegar and lose sight of what they're actually doing up there in rational decision-making processes, because that's like, I did an avalanche course. I've been woofer certified. I've backcountry skied, but I still made a shitty decision. By the time that I actually took my first step, it was a crazy process. And when I stood up on ground with no hands, I was, you're like cathartic. There's so much going on in your body. There's so much pure exuberance and joy and happiness and thankfulness that you can do the things you've always done again and with a renewed appreciation.